You're raised by your mom, you're a different man. You're a different boy. And you don't like hearing stuff from other men. Like, that's really one of the biggest issues I see in hip hop and in sports. That you just have a bunch of guys that were raised by their mothers. So they never heard a man's take on what they're doing. So they can't hear it. And then we get upset, Killer. You be like, but he'll listen to his girl. He'll listen to his girl because he was raised listening to a woman. He don't listen to men at all. You'll say you have a problem with authority. No, he just have a problem with men. But if a woman tell him something, she can get him to bring his whole check to her, and it's crazy. So for all of you listening,
That's a really good point, man.
yeah, is just raised by their mothers. I had a stepfather, you had a grandfather, so you know when a guy say what he said, that's what it is. That's why we carry that. So all they know is tantrums. All they know is attitude and facial expressions. People walk by, you like, why is he making his face like that? Because his mother used to do that. That's how his mother raised him. He's sassy.
Great point.
My mama would leave me a lot, bro. She would leave me. My brother had his father. He can go to his father, to his grandmother, them house. That my mama, for some reason, she was kept me there, and I was left alone a lot of times. People don't realize my mama left me outside one day, dog, when I was like 3 or 4, bro. My mama pulled off on me, bro, with a dude in a truck, and I'm running behind the truck crying. And it's like 9:30 at night, and I'm like, mama. She looked back. The guy tried to stop, but I guess she told him to keep going. And I was outside, bro. Like, I actually slept on the stairs. The neighbor came out. I don't want to say that no bitch. So the neighbor came out, and she let me in her house. She let me in her house, Miss Cunny. That's deep, man. Yeah, Miss Cunny let me in, bro. She gave me something to eat. She gave me a bath. She told my mama, she said, your mama wrong. She said, but you're going to be all right one day. She said, you scrum. No, I still love my mama, though.
Trigger warning to some of y'all. Within our community, we have to truly look at what is the point of still dealing with you as my mother or my father on a everyday basis, besides the fact that we're blood relatives when nothing is being built within this family. Yeah. There's no generational wealth. There's no, and when I'm saying generational wealth, I'm not going to use this cliche term that's just going around on the internet. What the fuck are we doing around each other? Yeah. You struggled all your life. Grandma and them struggled to take care of you, right? You have all these ways about yourself that have to do with struggle. You embody it. You embrace it. The teachings that you give me as I look about the world, I'm learning that this stuff is not good for me. Right. I want to own assets. I want to have healthy relationships. I want to be in a space where I built my community. I know people that I'm okay with them doing for me. Y'all mentality within the family is like, if it ain't family, don't be letting people X, Y, they gonna throw it in your face. And so if everything that I'm learning that is tied to the type of success I want is the opposite of how y'all behave, what is the point of this relationship? And all black folk got to go off of as the rebuttal is, well, that's your mama. That's your daddy. The title alone is supposed to make me freeze, drop everything I know, forget my discernment, forget, the calling that God is telling me I have on my life, and then just turn around and go back and just go along with this shit and just repeat the generational curse. Tell us the truth!
About to be extremely vulnerable because this might help someone. I've never been this vulnerable online and ever, okay? I believe you are as sick as your secrets, and saying things out loud helps free you. So my parents were married and then they had me. I guess their marriage was difficult, so they later got divorced. I don't know why, I don't know the details. All I know is that they separated, So I used to be with my mother 1 week, and then I'll go be with my father the next week. Okay? So back and forth. 1 week, my dad never showed up to come and pick me up. I sat by the door, literally waiting and waiting. He never showed up. The following week, I did the same thing. I did this for months, okay? He never came. So I felt so rejected, okay? I still quite literally turn into that little girl when I talk about it. It has changed the trajectory of my life, okay? So I didn't find out until literally recently as an adult that my father did not abandon me. My mother cut him off because she was afraid that he was gonna take me from her.
It's the book of Alpha Read it or weep. A man hopes that he can reconnect with his child later on and see an opportunity to explain what really went on when that child is more mature and ready to develop a relationship with him. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But men who are real men, we won't get out, man, and throw our child's mother under the bus.
So I literally had to grow up without a father, thinking that my father didn't love me. So I would go on dating these men who were amazing to me. I've had wonderful relationships, and I would literally feel like the love was never enough because my father didn't love me. How could another man love me? So it just fucked me up, okay? Like for good. So this is why I chose the man that I chose to have a baby with. Like everything truly makes sense. And my grandmother tells me this, and I was angry at my mom. Angry, okay? Because how dare you be that stuff fucking selfish and not think of me? You don't think I wanted to have my father? I've forgiven her now. I've made peace with it. But that's why I feel so strongly about cutting parents or cutting the other person off. You don't get to fucking do that. You don't, okay? Because like I said, it scarred me. And now my father is dead, and it haunts me for the rest of my life. Because I literally grew up thinking he didn't want me. That wasn't the case. He was coming. They were returning him. And I was sitting there by that door waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and he never showed up. And I hope this brings me some type of closure because it literally eats at me all the time, still to this day.
Now, I want y'all to understand something. When we hear stories like this, they're really sad, man, because you don't know how disheartening it is for a man to be deprived of his fatherhood duties, fatherhood responsibilities, the thrill of fatherhood, the joys of fatherhood. And I know some of you say, well, why didn't he just go to court and fight? Because, man, a lot of time, bro, you do not want to put your child through that. As a man, you got to stop thinking with your feelings. And you got to think about the child's feelings. You got to think about what kind of damage you would do for that child to see his parents battling back and forth. As a man, you got to make decisions. Now, for some men, that decision to go battle in court is a good decision. But for other men, they don't want to put their children through that. There's no bad way to handle this. All of the bad in this happens when a woman tries to keep a man away from his children. That's the bad. There's no bad way that a man can respond to that. I mean, unless he does something to everybody, but we don't normally do that in these situations. But I will say this, man, that there's a time where I tell men, and I still tell men, if you got to go through all of this shit to be a parent to your child, to be a father to your child, then just find a better woman and have another child, man. Like, nobody has to go through all of this. As a man, you shouldn't have to fight for your right to be a dad. Like, you shouldn't have to fight for it. I know I wouldn't fight for mine. You know what I'm saying? I ain't fighting for it. It's something, if a woman has so much vitriol toward me, or well, whatever it is that she has, that she wants to impede in my fatherhood progress, and she wants to stand in the way and be an obstacle, then let her be an obstacle. Let her explain it to her child. You know what I'm saying? No one's going to lord over me emotionally. No one's going to put me in emotional prison for any reason. I'm not going to allow that. You know what I mean? If I was going to do that, then I might as well go be a beta male simp mangina and wife up a woman that's masculine and strong, or non-feminine and strong, as I like to say. But this is just one example of the things that you don't know taking place, and we just run with narratives because men don't speak up and say, well, nah, man, your mama was this or your mama was that, and she did this and said this. Man, we just don't do that. As men, we're protectors to the last day. And so to protect a woman that we have a child with, and to protect that child, we will bite the bullet and we'll just take it. You know what I'm saying? We'll take one for the team, man. Sometimes we'll take 2 or 3 for the team. This is just how we function as real mature men. But men don't get credit for that because it's swept under the rug. Now, as I stated earlier, not every situation is like hers, but there are some situations where the mom is 100% the reason that the dad was not around. And many men will never, they'll just let the children grow up and think whatever they want to think. They will never throw those women under the bus. And you know why? Because men don't do hoe shit. And many times, a woman will rather you take the backlash and whatever fallout there is from a situation that she knows she created. That's why I'm telling you, man, you have to keep your gators on a woman's neck, because a woman going to do what's best for her. This is a situation, a circumstance where you see a woman will do what's best for her. She don't care who she hurts. She don't care how it affects everybody else. She's going to do what's best for her. The more pressure you put on a woman, or the more pressure life puts on a woman, or the more crunch time she feels like she's in, man, she will do what's best for her, and she will let everybody else fall off a cliff, bruh. And as men, we don't do that. We're not wired to do that. We're not wired to watch people fall off a cliff that we set them up to fall off. We hanging out the edge of the cliff with our toes hanging on the cliff trying to hold on to everybody. Man, women don't do that unless it benefits them. You know what I mean? Women don't sacrifice themselves, man. Let's stop acting like women sacrifice themselves. Am I saying women don't do anything or women have easy lives? No, I'm saying women don't sacrifice themselves. They'll sacrifice some things, but they won't sacrifice themselves. As men, we would sacrifice ourselves. There's a big difference. Sacrificing your career, or sacrificing time with your friends, that's one thing. But sacrificing yourself, no one is more destroyed by sacrificing themselves in relationships than men are. We sacrifice ourselves, end up losing years of our lives to keep other people from dealing with negative energy and negative fallout, even if they caused it. And that's real talk. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I know y'all have some opinions about this, man, and I want y'all to voice them in the comments, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.